F1 the movie, also known as F1, is an awesome racing movie directed by Joseph Kosinski with the screenplay written by Aaron Kruger. The film released just last Friday, June 27, 2025. Starring Brad Pitt and Javier Bardem, the film is an awesome racing movie with realistic races and great camera work and an awesome composition by Hans Zimmer. I went and saw it just this last Sunday with a buddy of mine, and we really enjoyed it. It's a good time. I highly suggest you go see this in theater. Welcome to ShowKnee Judgement, and this is my movie review of F1 the movie. Prepare to be judged.
What's the difference between Joshua Pierce and Sonny Hayes?
A lot of decades.
Hard-won experience.
Of living in a van.
Says the guy who still lives with his mom.
Says a guy with 2 pair.
Says the guy with trips.
Says the guy with the full house.
Wait, I don't even live with my mom.
The film starring Brad Pitt is about an underdog racer who wants to basically do all sorts of racing, doing the Daytona 500 NASCAR racing, I believe it was. I'm not really into cars or racing, so I don't know all the different types of racing, but boy, was this movie awesome, especially for a noob in the racing world. The cast did great in this movie. Brad Pitt does great as always. Javier Bardem was a very interesting addition to this film. He did pretty awesome. I didn't expect him to have such great chemistry with Brad Pitt.
But I see a guy who makes teams better. I see experience. I see know-how.
You're off your meds.
My Rook is a phenomenal talent. Phenomenal. But he's young. You know what he lacks? Maturity. You plus him, boom. I got a team.
As did the rest of the main cast, Damson Idris and Carrie Condon. All had great chemistry together. They all did great. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I'm still kind of confused how I feel about the movie. I honestly, watching it, I can't really think of anything I dislike.
3 laps. 3 laps is a lifetime.
I would say a pretty good theme of this movie is, I don't know what you would call it, but a man who made a grave mistake in his past and he's wanting to make up for it. I guess you could, it's an underdog story. You know, who doesn't love an underdog story? But this time in the Formula One racing world. The standout cast, of course, is Brad Pitt. He's always been great. I've always enjoyed him in his films, even in the ones I dislike. It's never Brad Pitt that's the problem. Now we're getting into the stuff that I like. The cinematography, holy cow, this is the meat and potatoes of the film. The cinematography was done mostly with cameras on the cars and different angles. Pretty much the way they did it with Top Gun, but from what I read, the camera technology was a bit more advanced as opposed to Top Gun Maverick, but it's basically the same type of style. So when you go in and watching this movie and you're a fan of Top Gun Maverick, you're definitely going to see similarities. They even had some really cool cameras on there that do panning movements. So when you're watching the movie, you'll notice that there's panning on the car, and it works. Like, it gets you right in the action, right in the races, right on the track. It makes you feel like you're on the track. Just like Top Gun Maverick, it made you feel like you're in the dogfight. It's fantastic. As I said before, I'm not much of a car guy, but even for someone who's not really into cars, this movie is great. Like, you don't have to be a car fanatic or a Formula One racing fanatic to enjoy this movie. It's super good. It's a super fun time. Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer's always been great. I talked about him in my Batman Begins review. Like John Williams, he is one of the top dogs in musical composition for film. He has a very distinct style that even if you didn't know Hans Zimmer was the composer, you just know it's Hans Zimmer because he has his signature embedded in his music. And I went in not knowing who did the composition. It took me a little bit, but I would say about halfway through the film, I noticed this was Hans Zimmer who did it. And then when I looked it up, sure shit, it was Hans Zimmer. Legendary music composer, very well known for combining electronic, electro music, like computerized music with symphony. He's super good at it. And from what I read, he purposely designed these specific musical compositions, like with the electric parts of the soundtrack, to kind of represent the machine aspect of the film, whereas he took the symphony part of his music and designed it where it represents the driver of the film. And it completely works. I love the soundtrack. My favorite song of the soundtrack from Hans Zimmer was F1. The main theme, super awesome. Highly suggest you check that one out. You might add that to your playlist.
To be a race driver, to create a movie about racing drivers, you know you're walking on hallowed grounds.
Okay.
You're walking on broken glass, because racing fans, it doesn't matter how good the racing movie is, they will always find something that isn't
And
quite
by the way,
right.
it's movie making. There will always be something that someone can pick and tear apart.
It's awesome to see the positive reception of F1. It completely deserves it, but still there's people that knock on the movie. As Brad Pitt says, it's all part of filmmaking. But I will say this. I want to talk about one movie reviewer who he did like the movie, but he was talking down an aspect of the movie in a way that just doesn't make sense to me. My first question is, what would make you happy for script writing? Because when people complain about a script not working and calling everything cliche, I ask you this. Do you know how many movies exist? Over 500,000. Over 500,000 theatrically released films exist in the world, in all corners of the world. So you tell me, what is originality anymore? I think everything is taken from inspiration. So this guy, who I'm not going to mention because I don't like calling people out, I'm just talking on someone's opinion that I disagreed with, that I don't understand. I respect his opinion, but I just don't understand it. His opinion was the script was unoriginal. There's too many cliche parts, without further explaining what was cliche, only calling it cliche. And he compared it being cliche to Top Gun Maverick. He basically was claiming that the script was a copy and paste remake of Top Gun Maverick with race cars. I wonder if he only said that because it has the same director and writer. Because when I watched this movie, that is not what I saw. I saw nothing similar. The only thing similar I saw was the directing style. It felt like Top Gun Maverick in the directing style and cinematography, but the story was nowhere near it. I guess you could probably say, because of the mentor and student aspect of the story, similar to Top Gun Maverick, but nowhere near the same. They were two different mentor and student stories. And I think F1 deserves to be praised as standing on its own 2 feet and not to be compared to other films and known as cliche. Listen, I feel like it's completely okay to take inspiration from another story and making it your own. Just like the Avatar films, people accuse those movies of being a ripoff of Dances with Wolves. What is so wrong with taking inspiration from a story that someone likes and makes it their own? Because I've seen both movies. And even though, yes, there are similarities between Avatar and Dances with Wolves, there's a lot of differences. Cliche is slowly becoming one of my least favorite words when talking about movies, because people use it as, well, it's similar to a movie I already liked, so it's cliche and I don't want to watch it again. I don't understand the obsession with that. Like, where a movie is like another movie or a remake. What if the remake is good, but because the remake might be slightly worse than the original, even though the remake is actually really, really good, they throw it aside and say it sucks, even though it doesn't suck in truth. Why can't you have 2?
Utah, give me 2.
Why can't you have, oh, I like this one. It's not as good as the original, but I like watching it. I also love the original. Why can't you do that? What is the obsession that has to be one or the other? Just like F1. Let's say F1, what if it is? What if it is a clone of Top Gun Maverick? Why can't you like both of them? What is so bad? What is the obsession? Last Samurai versus Dances with Wolves. I believe I heard someone compare Last Samurai to Dances with Wolves. What is the obsession? I do not understand. I don't judge them for having those opinions because, as someone very close to me told me very recently, everyone sees film through their own eyes. Through, everyone's energy and souls connect with the film's energy differently. And F1 just resonated with my energy. It synergized with my energy damn near perfectly. And it very well might be a 10 out of 10. But for right now, I'm going to give this film a 9 out of 10. I don't know why I feel like it's a 9 out of 10 right now. There's really nothing wrong with it. There's really nothing I disagree with it. But this is just my initial movie review. Since this is a new movie review of a new movie with no spoilers, I'm going to save my full review till a year later, which is what I like to do. I like to wait till movies exist at least a year or more before I get into spoilers and just give my full review. It gives me time to reflect how I actually feel about the movie. And honestly, it very might well be a 10, but right now it's a 9 just after seeing it once. And I really highly suggest you guys go see this in theaters.
Louis Chiron was 57 years old when he won the Monaco Grand Prix.
Who was who?
Philippe Tancelang, 56 years
You
old.
just Googled these names, didn't you?
Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you next time. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Be ready to be judged.